Welcome to Basketball Heads. I'm your host, Glenn Pooh Harding, and you got my guy in the back, the artist, Jamel Powell. And this is Basketball Heads Live. And tonight's host is Jerry Ice Reynolds. That's right, the New York City Legend. And this program is brought to you by Styles by Nita and Unique Creations. Let's get it.
Y'all ready? Yeah. You have just stepped into the world of chaos, where everybody goes hard. Come on. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Or go home. Never back down. You gotta hold your own. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. East Coast. Go hard. West Coast. Go hard. Midwest. Go hard. Dirty. Hurry up, everybody. Get online, buy your tickets, cause the game about to start.
What's going on, man?
Brooklyn in the house.
That's right, BK in the house.
How's everything?
Oh, man. This is awesome.
Good to see you, man.
Well, we got my man in the back, Jamel Powell. He got a picture we're going to send you. This is what we do here, a little bit something extra for the guys who come on the show.
That's what's up.
That's right, man. How you doing today, brother?
I'm blessed, man. Every day is a good day, is my attitude.
That's right. What up, Keith Stroud in the building? My man Joe Almeida from Massachusetts, basketball historian. Listen, this guy got so many stories about you guys, Ice. It's amazing, man. But we're gonna get this thing started, man, because I want to keep you all night because I got a lot of questions.
Let's hit it.
All right, man. I always ask everyone who come on the show, who introduced you to the game?
The streets, the parks, neighborhood parks. My stories is I don't know who got the same story as me, but my story is nobody never taught me how to play basketball.
Wow.
The park. That's how I learned how to play.
Playing with the older guys?
Well, initially, I started playing ball like in the 6th grade. And during lunchtime, they used to let us go out to the playground, to the park, to the courts outside.
Right.
So we used to play, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but, I guess I was all right because that's where I got the nickname Ice. They was like telling me, yo, you be making all of these crazy shots and stuff, and, you play like Iceman. I didn't even know who Iceman was when I was in the 6th grade.
Oh, okay. Listen, and here's a crazy story, right? Because I heard your name, Jerry Ice Reynolds, before I heard George Gervin, right?
Wow, that's funny.
This is so crazy. I started getting into basketball, I'll say officially, 1979, 1980, when Magic and them won the championship. Right?
Okay.
So when I moved to Bed-Stuy, we would just hear all of these names, Jerry Ice Reynolds, Beetle Washington, Andre Irvin, Pearl Washington. Those are the names who kind of stuck out. But you was kind of different because all of those guys was guards and you was a 6'9" guard.
Yeah, well,
so I just thought that was crazy back then.
Yeah, it was. I was ahead of my time, and it just happened from me playing in the parks. You know what I'm saying? I learned that if you didn't know how to handle the ball, you don't shoot because nobody was passing. So I was like, oh, okay, that's what I need to do. I need to go get the rebound and take it. You know what I'm saying? And do my own thing because nobody wasn't passing. So that's how I learned how to dribble. And
Doggy dog world, man. So how tall are you when you first started going out and playing?
Oh, I was average with all the rest of the kids that was, 12, 13 years old. You know, my story is I was when I went to Alexander Hamilton as a freshman, I was 5'9". So I was pretty much the same size as every other kid that was going to high school. And then I hit my growth spurt when I got to high school. So
same thing.
I started at 5'9". I finished at 6'7". So in those 4 years, I damn near grew a foot. You know, so it all happened then. I think when God felt the love in my heart, I just started stretching. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Right. That's crazy. I kind of went through the same thing. Entering high school at Lincoln, I went in 5'8", and then I left 6'5".
Okay. Yeah.
So
yeah. We went through a serious.
Yeah. So who was your first coach?
You mean like in high school or bitty basketball or
before? Yeah. Like your first coach, the guy who made the first impression on you.
I would have to say Lloyd McCrory when I started bitty basketball at Brooklyn, USA. But that was like at I guess I was 12 when I started at Brooklyn, USA. But I started playing ball seriously about 11 in the neighborhood, and I had a dude on my block named Freddie, and he coached my team. But Freddie wasn't really a basketball coach. He was just a neighborhood dude who liked basketball. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he put a team together and put us in a tournament, and I think we won that tournament. Got my first trophy, and I was hooked ever since. Once I got that gold trophy with the man doing the hook shot on there.
Right.
I was open. I was open.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So around that time, who was the best player in your neighborhood?
Beetle. To me, you know, I met Beetle in junior high school when I was doing that playground in 6th grade. Beetle was going to school at the same school, and that's where we met up at. And I think he was already playing with Brooklyn, USA. He's the one who told me about Brooklyn, USA. Took me to Brooklyn, USA with him. And you know, that's where we met. Well, I met Lloyd. He was already there, like I said. And you know, Lloyd McCrory was just he's still coaching youth basketball to this day. And
really?
Yeah, at St. John's Center in Brooklyn. He's still there.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
wow.
Know, he made a great impression on me as a youth, man. You know, he instilled a lot of confidence in my game, and you know, built my confidence as a basketball player. You know, so
definitely gotta get him up here, man. For sure. Okay, so tell me a little bit something about Beetle, because again, the first time I seen you guys play was on that YouTube game against Ben Franklin.
Okay.
And when I turned on the game, immediately I knew who he was, because he was all over the court.
Yeah, he was an all-purpose point guard. You know what I'm saying? He rebounded, he passed. You know, he defended well. He shot it decent. He finished very well. And he was just a perfect point guard. And for my style of game, who I was a runner. You know, I was a lane filler, so to speak.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't have to play point with him, because he was a point guard deluxe. You know what I'm saying? All I
That's right.
And give it to him and run. And the rule on our team in high school was, or even before high school, was whoever run the hardest and was open down the court, that's who got the layup.
Right.
So that's what I learned as a young kid at Brooklyn, USA, is that running the court was, you know, that was an art for me. You know what I'm saying? So he got
y'all the ball at the right places.
Yeah, and he used to throw lobs from half court, and you know, he just, as soon as he got the ball on the outlet pass, he looked up. He wasn't that dribble type of dude. You know what I'm saying? He just automatically looked, and the ball was gone. So Yeah, loved playing with that guy, man. Loved it. Loved it. You know, he helped
Besides
me.
Beetle,
Say it
okay,
again.
go ahead, guys. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I said he really helped me develop into the player that I became.
And what school did he wind up going to?
University of New Orleans. He was right down the road from me. I was at LSU and he was at New Orleans. That's only an hour drive. So, you know, we got a chance to hang out a lot when we were in college. We even played against each other in the NIT. They beat us in the NIT, which was crazy. At our spot too. They came in the
Right.
spot and got us. But
Nice.
we had a good time down.
So besides that, who was some of the other guys that you was coming up playing with in the neighborhood?
Shoot. I'm still there.
Yeah, he's still here.
Yeah, in Brooklyn. Shoot. So before me, there was Cosell Brown. There was Rob Brown out from Brownsville. Richie Gordon, and all of those guys was a little older than me. Mo Sanford, the twins, Darius. I forget their last names, but yeah, Cosell and what? Stuart Granger, the Vern and Vic Fleming and Queens. You know, those are all the guys that I looked up to because they was a few years, 2-3 years older than me, and you know, so I used to them and their success and be like, yo, I'm trying to be where they at. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
So
Coach was telling me.
Say it again.
Go ahead. Sorry about that.
Go ahead. I didn't hear you.
No, I was saying Coach Haskins was telling me a story about Cosell Brown and how he left Hamilton to go to Oak Hill Academy, and it didn't work out too well for him.
Yeah. Well, Cosell was nice, man. Cosell was one of the top guards in the country. You know, when he was at Hamilton, and when I joined Hamilton as a sophomore, Cosell was like one of the top guards in the country, and he was like a junior when I came in as a freshman. And so you know, I guess him and Coach didn't really get along like they could have, and that's why Cosell left to go down to Oak Hill Academy. And you know, Cosell was kind of spoiled. I guess I could say that, you know, about him now, looking back. You know, because everybody was, you know, all on his jock is what we used to say back in the day. They was all over.
Right. There you go. Yeah.
So he was eating it up, and you know, and so he had a big ego, and I think that hurt Cosell in his basketball career. But he was definitely nice.
Yeah, Coach said he was number 2 behind Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah. Cosell wasn't fast. That was the sneaky thing about his game. He wasn't fast. He didn't jump high, but he was effective though. You know what I'm saying? He just knew how to get it done.
Solid. So how was Alexander Hamilton, right? Because when I picture you guys in school, especially when I was that young, I was picturing high school like Welcome Back Carter and like Cooley High. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, definitely fantasy land. But how was Alexander Hamilton for you?
It was all right. You know, even though it was a really old school, you know, like it was built in like 1898. I never forget the engraving on the side of the school with the year it was built. And I'm like, you know, I go to this old decrepit school. You know, it's one building. We didn't have any ball fields. We didn't have a football team. We didn't have baseball and all of the sports because we didn't even have a field. You know, it was just one building. So it was different, I guess, from most high schools because most high schools had all of that stuff. They had a football field. They had a baseball field. You know what I'm saying? And they had facilities. The thing about us at Hamilton, we didn't have a basketball court because we had one in the school, but it was old and it had columns that ran in the middle of the court, so we couldn't practice there or play there. So we played all of our games at St. John's Center. That was our home court, which was odd, you know what I'm saying? So we didn't really have a home court. St. John's was it, and it worked out fine. We used to be standing room only in there whenever we played. You know, we just had a real following. We had fans and stuff when I was in high school. You know what I mean? It was pretty crazy. It was an exciting year, to say the least.
What year did you make the team?
My freshman year was 77. I mean, yeah. I got in at 76, 77, and I think the first year on the team was 77, 78. So that's when I came in as a sophomore. Coach Haskins probably ain't tell you. He always say he didn't cut me, but he did cut me as a freshman, and he told me I was too skinny and I need to come back next year. So what I did was I was mad about that because me and Beetle went there together, and Beetle got to play. Beetle got to start. Beetle came off the bench. Cosell started, and Beetle came off the bench. But he didn't even let me get down, and I was salty about that. But then, you know, I went back to play with Lloyd in winter ball. Played juniors with Lloyd as a 15-year-old, 14, 15-year-old. I just played winter ball that year, and you know, just kind of got hungrier when I came back as a sophomore.
Chip on your shoulder.
Yeah. So I definitely, you know, played myself into the rotation. I didn't start as a sophomore, but I got some run. I came off the bench, and we had a tough team. We lost in the Brooklyn title game. I think we lost to one year we lost to Boys High, and then one year we lost to Sid Green and them. My junior year, we lost to Sid Green and them in the Brooklyn finals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Who was that Boys High during this time that was pretty good?
Mo Sanford was the man that year. Mo Sanford and I forgot who they got. They had a tough guard too, and I forget his name.
Okay.
Yeah, but Mo Sanford was like all city. I mean, or all Brooklyn at the time. He was like their best player, and they had a guard that was pretty good too. So they were stacked though. They had a good team. Earl Smalls was on that team. Damn, who else? I can't even remember who was on that team. But they was pretty stacked though. They was pretty.
Okay. Yeah, Boys High always kept a really good team. When did you start to come into your own as a player?
My junior year. My junior year, when I came back, I had grown again. I was like, my freshman year I came in, I was like 6'3". I went from 5'9" to 6'3". And then my junior year I came back, I was 6'5". And so I was getting more run my junior year. Cosell had left, and we had Lionel King and Nate Sims, both of whom were D1 guys. Nate Sims went to Ohio State, and Lionel went to Cleveland State. So yeah, I played with them my junior year, and like I said, we lost to Sid and them, to Sid Green, and then so that was the year that I kind of grew up, and came back my senior year and kind of turned it up a little bit.
Yeah, they said Sid Green was like a man among boys, man, back then.
Yeah. Sid was All-American, and you know, he had everybody falling all over him too. You know, coming out of Brooklyn, you know, with that status, he was killing everybody, and so he was solid. He was solid, and they had a nice team too. They had Mike Porter, Sid Green, Bill Calhoun, and they had a tough squad too. You know, Sid Green, Vegas. I forget where I think Bill Calhoun went to Pitt. I think. So yeah, then I forgot where Mike Porter went. Mike Porter, I think, went D1 too. So yeah, man, Brooklyn basketball was tough back then, man. It was really tough.
Yeah.
You know,
a lot of ball players.
teams had three dudes, you know, three good star players, you know. Most of the teams that were pretty good. So yeah, then I came back my senior year, and like I said, man, we just went on. We got on a run, man. It didn't stop. You know, the way we played defense, that was our offense, basically.
Right, I saw that.
The defensive coach, and our motto was, if you can't handle the pressure, you don't stand a chance. You don't stand.
Okay. Somebody said Calhoun went to Fordham.
Yeah, Fordham. Right. Calhoun.
Yeah.
Fordham. Exactly.
Yeah. Coach Haskins said there were 24 guys on the team, and out of those 24, 12 wound up going Division I, right? Exactly. So I always believed Coach ever since I was a young kid. But when he said that, it just didn't register. 24 guys on the team. So when I watched the videotape, I'm counting guys on the team on the bench. I'm going, holy shit.
Right. It was like a whole team that was on the bench while the game.
Oh my, y'all, I don't think people realize. Y'all need to go watch that game, people. It was unreal. And I think that was the first time a nationally televised high school game was played on television, correct?
Yeah, that was the first nationally televised high school game. Yeah, and it was awesome, man. And the only thing that kept it from being sold out like it would have been was it was a snowstorm in Philly, a real bad snowstorm, and a lot of people stayed home, you know, because it was hard to get around and stuff with the blizzard. It was a blizzard.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was crazy, man. It was crazy.
Just imagine how that would have turned out.
And the reason we had 24 guys was that coach, since they didn't let him have a JV, he let those guys play with us. You know, so he just told them, "Come on, man, y'all ride with us, and y'all gonna learn how to play from these kids that I got here. That's you know the studs. Y'all gonna learn how to play," and that's what happened. You know, it was just like a farm system, but we was all together. You know? Yeah,
it's definitely something that you can appreciate, because most coaches wouldn't have done that. They would have just let those guys stay home, right, or just wouldn't have had a team. But to include those guys shows you what kind of man Coach Haskins was and is to this day.
And it, you know, playing with those younger guys, man, it was just making them tougher. Just like, you know, when I started as a sophomore, you know, it just made me tougher, man. You know, just fighting my way through, you know, learning the system, and it was fun, man. You know, my senior year, I averaged 28 points a game, and I rarely played the fourth quarter. I rarely played the fourth quarter my whole senior year. That's how bad we used to beat people, and you know how quick we used to get like 80 points, 90 points. We had 90 points, and it'd be the third quarter. You know what I'm saying? And we averaged 103 points a game my senior year for the whole year.
Wow.
You know, there's NBA teams that don't average 100 points a game. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that was in 32 minutes. You know, that's 8 minutes.
That's crazy.
You know, so yeah. It's,
you forgot to add the 16 rebounds to that too.
Yeah. It was crazy. And 6 assists. You know, I led the team in steals. I led the team in rebounds. I led the team in scoring, blocks, everything. But I had help though. You know, Beetle
no doubt.
5 a game. Andre Irvin was averaging 25 a game. You know, it was crazy. It was crazy. I mean, our highest output my senior year, I think, was 168. We scored 168 points in 32 minutes. And you know, I felt sorry for Coach, because a lot of the opposing coaches used to dislike him because they thought that he was running up to score. And that's not what it was. It was that he would take us out, and then when he put the young boys in, they was not letting up. You know what I'm saying? They playing just how we practice. That's just how we practice every day. We practice defense. So when they get in the game, they was trapping. We up by 40, 50. They still trapping. You know what I'm saying? They still trap
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So, you know, hey, coach said, this is how we play, man. And I'm not trying to disrespect nobody, but this is how I coach my guys, and this is just what we do. You know, figure it out. You want to beat us, figure it out. You know?
Yeah, coach was saying that, you know, he got a kind of a bad rap for some of those things, and having you guys dress up in like ties and slacks and things of that nature, and people was calling that militant. I call that having kids getting ready for the real world.
Exactly. I mean, we didn't really like it as kids. We didn't like wearing ties, but you know, we did it. You know, and we respected coach. You know what I mean? Anything that he told us to do, you know, we might have twisted our faces up afterwards, but you know, we fell in line, and we were a team. You know what I'm saying? We did it, man. We did it. We won together. We dressed up, looking good together, and you know, we didn't even have a home court. So it was a pretty exciting year to go undefeated. We didn't lose until Glens Falls at the state championships. We lost to Chris Mullin. After the week after we played in Philly was the state championship in Glens Falls, and so we had to go up there and play against Zaveri and Chris Mullin, and you, as you know, Chris being a Hall of Famer, that boy was nice. Hey,
Putting that work.
Behind Larry Bird, that's the baddest white boy I ever seen ball. Straight
Oh,
up.
for sure. I would love to have Chris on the show. He's definitely someone who had an impact on New York City basketball.
Yeah. Great dude, too. Great dude. We played a lot in the summers together on travel teams. You know, we got together with the Gauchos, went out to Boston Shootout. We traveled to Phoenix, Arizona. We went to Utah. You know, we used to either get together and play with Riverside, you know, or the Gauchos. Those were the teams with the money. Unfortunately, you know, Brooklyn, USA didn't have that financial backing like that. So in the summer times, we used to get recruited by the Gauchos in Riverside because you know they come to Brooklyn and get the studs from Brooklyn and secure those wins when we travel.
People don't really realize, man, Brooklyn ball players, you know, not going to say we kind of run New York, but in the words of the great Tom Konchowski, he said, in New York City, the best ball players come from Brooklyn. And there's no disrespect to any other borough out there.
Exactly. No disrespect, because there's talent all over the world, but definitely New York is talent all over. But, you know, back in that time, you know, Brooklyn was packed with a lot of studs, man. A lot of real serious ballers, man. And you know, we competed. We went uptown. We went to the Bronx. We went to Harlem and played. Went to Queens. You know, Long Island, but Jersey. You know, they all had great ball players. You know, but you know, Brooklyn always was a problem. You know, straight up, Brooklyn, we was a problem.
And funny that you say that because when I came up, we used to go to all the boroughs and the different states to play. Not too many people came down to Brooklyn to play.
Yeah, well, you know, we had a little reputation back then. You know what I'm saying?
Everyone says it. Yo, son, Brooklyn kind of crazy. But that's cool.
We had a little reputation, you know. A lot of love, though.
Yeah, we had someone, I think Coach E. Brooks, he mentioned Andre Irvin. Now I know Gary, his nephew, he's the head coach at Nazareth High School right now.
I didn't know that.
Yes. He's the coach at Nazareth right now, the head coach. And, you know, he's trying to put together a really solid program. I think he got the coaching job last year.
Oh, that's what's up. Congratulations to Gary Irvin.
Yes.
Straight up. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. Well, Andre, you know, my teammate Scott Irvin, man, he was crazy, man. He had a lot of talent, man, and that was my guy. And you know, we needed him, even though he was an underclassman. When me and Beetle and Donnell Williams, we were all seniors. Andre was a junior, and then Bug Eye was under Andre. You know, so we had Bug Eye as a freshman, and we had Andre Irvin and Beetle, myself, and then we ain't even mentioned Carrie Scurry, who came in for 1 year. He only came in and played with us for 1 year, my senior year, and he helped us get that chip,
wow.
You know, he was just a rebounder and defensive. He was like Dennis Rodman, you know,
right?
Dennis Rodman, straight up. He used to get every rebound. Either I got the rebound or Carrie got the rebound, and we was off to the races. You know, so.
Yeah, I see where his brother Moses Scurry, who I came up with in my era, right, get the rebound, screen, and elbows. Because he did that shit in the game, on that YouTube game, and it freaked me out. Because I was saying to myself, oh shit, Moses. That's where Moses get that from.
Yeah, Carrie.
It was the same exact move, the same exact. And I think there was a technical foul called on that as well.
Yeah, exactly. I remember that play. And he, you know, he was just a physical dude, man. You know,
right.
Great. That's how we coach. That's how coach coached us. We was just physical in practice, and like I said, if you wasn't physical and you couldn't handle pressure, you wasn't beating us. Even though that Philly game, they gave us a good run. They did have a good team. They was solid, but you know they just couldn't handle the pressure. They couldn't handle it.
All right. So you coming up to your senior year, right? And you know I know you mentioned y'all went to Glen Falls and lost in the championship, similar to what we did at Lincoln. Mm-hmm. Got to Glen Falls and we lost in the state championship. But that year, right, when you came into your own and you know All-American and the best player in New York City, on your come up, who ass did you bust to let you know you was ready? Like, what was that game that let you know, like, damn, I arrived?
Well, going into my senior year, let's start there because I had this attitude. You know, remember how they used to have the Street and Smith magazines, and
yeah, I still have them. Yeah,
the listings of the All-Americans and the dudes that's supposed to be all of that. So what I used to do was I used to look at those magazines, and I wasn't an All-American. You said I was All-American. I never made All-American. I was like
really.
I was like an honorable mention. I was like
wow.
So I was feeling some type of way about that. So I was looking.
Same here.
Who see all of these guys who was All-Americans. And I was trying to get at them at any tournament that I see that is an All-American there. I'm gonna bust his ass. That was my mentality. And the perfect place for that was the Boston Shootout, because Boston Shootout was like the top tournament in the nation at the time, where all of the teams come from different cities around the country and they meet up in Boston. So you had All-Americans on almost every team that was there. They had Maryland. They had Adrian Branch came from Maryland. Kenny Fields and them came from California. Stuart Gray and them guys was All-Americans out there. Doc Rivers came from Chicago. Patrick Ewing was on the host team, and he was a Boston dude. Who else was there? Man, they had.
Oh, mention that again, because my boy Joe is going nuts right now.
Who's
my
that?
Man Joe from Boston. Mention that guy from Boston again.
Oh, so Patrick Ewing was on the house team, right? And here's the funny story. And if you ever have Chris on here, Chris going to verify this story. So the night we had beat everybody up there, right? We had a stacked team: Pearl Washington, myself, Chris Mullin. Dwayne Johnson, Troy Trusdale, God bless his soul. Who else? Beetle. And that's all. Horace Naismith was on that team from Queens. So we had a squad, right? So anyway, the night before, we played Patrick Ewing for the championship. So it's New York versus Boston for the championship, right? So we was hanging out in somebody's room. I don't know who room we was in. And I was like, yo, fellas, I'm good, man. Y'all go ahead, man. Get some rest. I got to go get my rest because I'm dunking on Pat tomorrow. That's what I told them before I went to bed. And sure enough, somebody shot the ball and they didn't box me out. Pat was going for the rebound, and I caught it. I got a running start, and I caught it out the air with one hand and yoked it right in his grill, like, bam! And it was hard, and everybody in there was bugging. People were standing up like, oh. And then so we all laughed after we got, and I wound up making all tournament up there in Boston, and that kind of let me know that I was solidifying myself, even though I wasn't an All-American. Every time I seen All-Americans, I got my shit off. Every time I seen him, I was like,
Joe saying, told you.
Yeah. You remember
that's
Earl,
crazy.
From DC, Earl Jones. Earl Jones was like an All-American too. They had
Who? Say that name again, I didn't get it. Who that name? You said Joe who?
Earl Jones. Earl
Jones? Okay.
DC. Earl Jones was like a 7-footer, 6'10", 6'11" dude from DC. And he was like, he was that dude. He was an All-American coming up out of DC with Adrian Branch and Billy Goodwin and all of those. Not Billy Goodwin. What was the dude's name? Went to Georgetown. Oh man, I forget. Billy Martin. Billy Martin.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that Boston Shootout was a tough tournament, man. That was one of my favorites, man, because like I said, it was everybody. It was the who's who from all around the country. You had Detroit, all the big cities was there. Chicago, Washington, D.C., L.A., everybody was there. So
who won it that year?
The year that we went, we won it. Brooklyn, we beat Patrick and them in the championship.
You heard that, Joe? I just want him to say it. I kind of knew it already, but
yeah, we got that.
Salute to my Boston guy.
Yeah, we went up there with the Gauchos team. Tiny Archibald was our coach, and Lou D'Almeida was the head of the Gauchos back then. And man, we had a stacked team.
How was it playing AAU back then compared to now?
Well, it wasn't even called AAU back then. It was just different. It was just tournaments that had legacy. Tournaments that had been around for a while. Like that Boston Shootout was one. Like the Dapper Dan, that was comparable to like the Jordan class.
McDonald. Right.
McDonald's game. I think the McDonald's game had kind of just started back then.
Yes.
Like that. I think the Dapper Dan. Then you had the Capital Classic. That was a big all-star game. And I didn't get to play in any of those games. I wasn't invited to the McDonald's game. I was the New York City Player of the Year. I didn't get invited to the McDonald's game. I think they took Chris Mullin and I want to say, who else went? I think Chris and maybe Pinckney. I think either Pinckney or Dwayne Johnson. I think those guys went and played in the McDonald's game. But I didn't get to go to it. So, like I said, man, I just used to like to feast on what I used to call them paper All-Americans. With the paper All-Americans. Let me get
there. You go.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's what I.
And it seemed like it seemed like those guys in those programs were only going after the Catholic school guys, right? Especially during that time. And
I guess they had more pub than the public school guys. I just didn't know why it was that way, but it was. I wasn't tripping on it. I didn't feel slighted or anything because I was confident in my game. Wherever I went, I was getting my shit off. That's what I call it. I get my shit off on anybody. Whoever's
right.
on, he got a problem. That's how I was going into any game or any tournament I was playing in. And
that's real.
I wasn't a shooter. You know, I used to just, I was what I call a stat filler. You know, I'm getting steals, I'm getting rebounds, I'm blocking shots, I'm running the court, I'm catching alley-oops, I'm catching dunks. Nobody ain't blocking me out. I had hops, you know. I was long, I was athletic, and I did all my damage without a jumper. You know, and I tell kids that every time I teach basketball, which I do now. You know, I say I made it to the NBA with no jumper. You know, figure that, skinny and didn't have a jump shot. And you know,
but the skills was, yeah, so much skill.
Yeah. I played when it was really physical. You know, being a skinny guy with coming out when I was playing. You know, that wasn't an advantage being light in the ass. You know, so it was tough, man, for a skinny dude. But Lloyd and Ray and Lester Roberts, all those guys, they prepared me. You know, when I was a youth, they prepared me on how to be tough. You know, and play hard. And do it all without a jump shot, basically.
Yeah, your game is definitely suited for today's game, minus the 3-point shot, but definitely as far as the skill set, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Anything that you can do on the court.
Ball, running, jumping, you know, going up and down. I could run all day. You know, that was my best asset as a ball player. Was my conditioning, right? If you couldn't run, if you was out of shape, you ain't have a chance against me, because I stayed in shape. that was all I did was run up and down. It was like shit. I play all day.
Right.
That was what we did in the hood. We played all day.
That's right.
You know, all day. If the weather is nice, we balled. You know, that was just it. You know. Kept me out of trouble too.
Yeah, kept a lot of us out of trouble.
So, you know.
So you originally committed to Wisconsin, right?
Say it again.
So you originally committed to Wisconsin.
Right. I was actually at Wisconsin. I went to Wisconsin, even though I failed my classes my senior year, and I had to sit out what would have been my freshman year because of my grades. So I signed to go to Wisconsin, and after my senior year, I actually went to Wisconsin in the fall. Like I said, that would have been my freshman year, but I had to sit out, and I was going to begin as a freshman the following year in Wisconsin. So while I was there, getting my grades up, the coach gets fired during that season. And a guy by the name of Bill Cofield was the head coach of Wisconsin, and he recruited me pretty heavily to come to Wisconsin. And it was funny because when I signed to go to Wisconsin, and I told my boys in Brownsville and in New York, they was like, "You going where?" I was like, "Wisconsin." They said, "What's that?" They didn't even know that was a state.
Right.
Like, Wisconsin, what's that? I was like, yo, it's in the Big Ten, you know, it's big time. You know, we play against Michigan State, you know what I'm saying? We play against Magic old school. You remember Michigan State, right? He was like, oh, okay. You know, so he gets fired, and right after the season is over. So I was like, and the funny thing about it, a lot of people don't know why I went to Wisconsin. He was recruiting me as a point guard. And that's what really attracted me to go to Wisconsin. You know, one, I wanted to play for a black coach, which he was, and then two, he saw me as a point guard, and nobody else that was recruiting me was talking to me that way. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I ended up at Wisconsin. And then that fell apart. When he got fired, I no longer wanted to stay there because, you know, I didn't, the new coach probably didn't see me that way. You know what I'm saying? I'd even have wanted me. So I was kind of, you know, weighing my options while I was still in Wisconsin at that time. And I get a phone call from Coach Roberts Les Roberts called me from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I didn't even know he was living down there. And he said, "Yeah, Jerry, I heard what happened with your situation in Wisconsin. You know, I'm living in Baton Rouge, and Dale Brown is a good friend of mine. And you know, and I told him about you, and I told him about your situation, and I think you might be a good fit for down here. You know, so you should. I think you should come and visit at the very least and see what you think." And you know, since Lester called, it was a no-brainer. I was on the next thing smoking. I was like, set it up, and I'm coming. I'm coming to at least check it out, you know, see what's going on. So I go visit, you know, and Les was living there. So, and the campus was beautiful, and you know, I saw an opportunity for me to succeed there at LSU. So that's why I ended up at LSU. It's funny because they never even recruited me. You know, I got recruited by every school in the country, and LSU was one that didn't recruit me. And I wind up going there.
Wow.
So I just fell in their lap, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because when I was doing my research, I saw Wisconsin, and it kind of threw me off. And it had me think about my cousin at the time, who passed away. He used to play for Madison High School. Did you guys play Madison back then?
Yeah, no doubt.
My cousin name was Cortez Jackson.
Yeah. Donnell Birdwell was the man at Madison. I remember him because me and Birdwell, we used to run with us at Brooklyn, USA sometime in the summertime. So that's how I knew. I remember who was at Madison. Yeah, Donnell Birdwell. Yeah.
Well, I know my cousin, Cortez Jackson, he had went to Colorado, and I was just like, for what? Like, and then you, with Wisconsin, it just threw me off for a minute. And one other guy I want to ask you about, because a friend of mine's, a very dear friend of mine, his father passed away, and he played ball here in Brooklyn, named Dennis Jenkins.
Yeah, I remember Dennis.
Cool. I'm going to tell him that. That's going to mean a lot to him, man. He hit me up. He had asked me to ask Coach Haskins, but I didn't have a chance. But I'll definitely let him know you remember his dad.
Yeah. God bless.
Yeah. So, Ross, I'm gonna get to that question soon. But we at LSU now. How do you like? You went down there for a visit. How do you like it?
Oh, I fell in love, man. You know, I wasn't looking back. I wasn't. Well, I just never was a real book guy. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't really into my books like I should have been back then. But what I was into was light-skinned girls. And so when I went to Louisiana and visited Baton Rouge, I was like, yo, this is real. Like these is black girls. It was like, yeah, because it was like light with the green eyes and the
right,
long hair, and I was like, yo, like for real, yo, she black for real. I was like, yo, they was like, yeah, she black. That's how they do it down here. They call them Creoles. They got them Creoles.
Yeah.
And man, I was like, where y'all want me to sign at, man? I was like, and that's the true story, man. I'm just gonna keep it 100 with everybody. You know what I mean? That's
real.
And plus, Les was there, and Les was like my father. He was like my surrogate dad down there. You know what I'm saying? So it was a no-brainer, man. That's it was a beautiful campus. You know, they treated me with love, and my surrogate pops was there. You know, Les was there, so I was
right.
Good. I was in. You know what I mean?
That's good. So, who do you pattern your game after? You know, being a 6'9" guard, right? Who do you pattern your game after?
Well, I had a mixture. You know what I'm saying? With my ball handling, you know, I would have to be compared more to Magic. With my ball handling and my passing ability, but then the smoothness and the stuff like that that would be on the Iceman kind of side of that. And then I was able to rebound. I was a good rebounder. I was a good shot blocker, had good timing. Like I said, I could jump. So defensively, I really couldn't compare myself to anybody defensively because, you know, there wasn't very many defensive guards, like six eight guards back then. So, you know, I would have to say I just picked up my defensive prowess from early on. You know, playing with Brooklyn USA, they taught me the art of peripheral vision. You know, being able to see,
Yes.
being able to see the ball without looking at the ball. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When I'm looking somewhere else, and I'm making the ball handler think that I'm not paying attention to my man. And once he think he could throw the ball to my man, I'm anticipating that. They taught me that when I was 12, 13 years old. Lloyd McCrory and them taught me that, and that's something that turned into every team that I played for. I led every team I played for in steals.
Wow.
At every level.
Wow.
That was in college. That was in the pros, and it all came from Brooklyn USA. They taught me how to anticipate. They taught me how to shoot the gap, is what they used to call it. You know what I'm saying? Where you in the passing lanes, and I got the long arms, you know, and I was quick. And like I said, I used to just love the ball handler to sleep, thinking, you know, that I'm not looking at him. You know, I'm not really paying attention. And then when you throw that ball, I was gone. So I always got me like 2 or 3 steals, 4 steals a game, you know, off of just reading, you know, reading the ball handler's eyes and pretending that I'm not looking when I'm always looking, you know. So.
Okay, all right. So now, did you start playing your freshman year? Or did you have to sit out?
When I got to LSU, it was on. It was on and popping. So I started as a freshman. I started the first game when I got there. I had to beat out. They had a homegrown white kid by the name of Don Redden, who was he was the Mr. Louisiana basketball guy, and he was like a small forward. He was like 6'6". He could shoot the ball. And stuff like that. So when we came in both as freshmen together, you know, like I said, I'm always looking for the guy that I got to bust his ass. So
That's right. That's right.
the dude, I had to kill him, you know, in order to get that starting spot. And you know, so I accomplished that in first opening night. You know, I got the starting job and had a good freshman year. I got beat out for freshman of the year in the SEC by Kenny Walker.
Oh, we gonna get to that. We gonna get to that because you know now that I'm talking to you more and I'm seeing and I'm hearing how you know you're a guy who don't forget things and you keep a chip in your shoulder at all times and you keep that thing cocked ready to go because you're a walking bucket and you're gonna get yours on whoever they say is the nicest. Right. For sure, for sure. So we're gonna get to that Kenny Walker. We're gonna bring that back. So my man Ross said, ask him about LSU and Syracuse when he dunked on Pearl.
Oh yeah. That was a great great experience, man. Because when we went to Syracuse, I had played in front of big crowds before in the SEC because everybody got like, you know, 10, 15. Some of them, Kentucky had the biggest, it was 23,000 at Kentucky. They had the biggest arena in the conference, but everybody was like 15, you know, and it always be sold out. Everything is sold out. So when we went to Syracuse had 33,000 people in there, yo, and I had never played in front of a crowd that big before.
Right.
And so I always loved TV games. That's what the announcers used to say about me or whenever I played on national TV. They were like, this Reynolds kid, he likes it when the bright lights are on. He shows up and stuff like that. And so that was one of those games, you know, that was on national TV. And then it was against my brother, you know, Pearl, who was a great player. and who I respected.
Rest in peace. Yeah.
And then rest in peace as well. Then they had a squad. They had a bomb squad. They had Ryan Cycley, Wendell. What was his name? Wendell, not Wendell.
Wendell Alexis.
Wendell Alexis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Ronnie Cycley.
Cycley.
Was Ronnie Cycley there? No, Cycley wasn't there yet.
He was there. Cycley was there.
Oh, he was there. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So it was them. It was Alexis Pearl and Ronnie Cycley. And then they had Raphael Addison too.
Yes, definitely.
They had a squad. They was probably ranked. They was probably ranked that year, and I think we were ranked too. So Pearl caught one. He caught one. I basically I used to get me 1 or 2 dunks every game. So he just happened to be down there on one of them when I was
right.
on the court, So yeah, it was an honor, man, to play against my brother. And he from Brownsville too, so that was like the double whammy. It was like 2 Brownsville kids on national TV going head up. It was a great experience, man. Great experience.
Yeah, we always yelling at the TV when that happened, bro.
Yeah, great experience.
Yeah. So your sophomore year is coming up now, and things are shaping up well, right?
Yeah, well, that freshman year went really well. I averaged 10 points and like 6-7 rebounds as a freshman, and made all SEC freshman team.
Yes, yeah.
And I should have got freshman of the year, but since Kenny Walker was playing with Kentucky, and they was like the #1 team in the nation, they had like all 5 of they whole starting 5 went to the NBA. So they was stacked. So I had a good freshman year, and then now going into my sophomore year. So we played against Mike my freshman year as well. We played against him, in the Meadowlands. We played North Carolina in the Meadowlands that year, and I had a pretty good game against MJ and them, but they beat us. They was ranked 2 that year, and so my sophomore year we saw Mike again. And this is the year that I pretty much could have went hardship after my sophomore year, because I had my average went from 10-6 to 14-8 my sophomore year. So I had my best year in college my sophomore year, and then we go into Chapel Hill to face Michael Jordan, Kenny Smith, and Sam Perkins and Brad Daugherty, and they was all on the same team. All of them went to the league, so they were stacked. I think they were ranked #1 when we saw them in Chapel Hill, and I had my best game as a collegiate player against Mike, and I think that's what pretty much when I think looking back at that game, I think that's where the NBA scouts kind of started to notice my skill set as a 6'8", But I played power forward in college, but I still had the ability to grab the rebound and start the break and finish the break off with a dime. I think that was the year that that was my pretty much coming out party as far as the NBA starting to notice.
Okay. Yeah, I posted that game today, I think, or yesterday. The game you had against Michael Jordan and going off. And once we get off, I'm gonna put your correct Instagram name on there, because I think I sent it to the wrong person, but it's definitely posted on my page.
Okay, yeah. Funny, I never saw that game until like maybe about 3 or 4 years ago. I never saw that game. I never saw the high school game until just recently. It's funny, man, how that happened, man. How all these years go by and I never seen those games before. So when I did see the high school. I saw the North Carolina game first, and then some time went past, and then I saw the high school game, which was very special.
Okay. My man Ross said, did you wear 35 in honor of Fly Williams?
Absolutely. Fly was my idol growing up when I moved to Brownsville, because I moved to Brownsville when I was 14. Right before I started high school, I moved to Brownsville from South Brooklyn. That's where I met Beetle down in South Brooklyn when we went to the same junior high school. Then I moved to Brownsville. So now.
All right, hold on, Ice. Hold on 1 sec. We're gonna come back. I'm gonna open back up again because the time is running out. We're gonna come back for one more session. All right.
All right, bet.
All right, bet.